The sad part of it is that we reached this point when we have lost about 672 of our members. We wish that could have been earlier so that we don't lose those members. And those 32,000 of them, 500 who have been infected, thanks God that 30,000 out of them have really recovered. So you see the members that are here. Today will be injected 900 of us, starting with me and the commissioner, and we believe that will help this family of SAPS to be able to work and be protected so that can be able to protect other people. I don't want to talk too much. It's really a good morning. We love to be here, and we thank all the stakeholders, GEM, PolMed, and the members that have made this day to happen, and everybody else, including the media, that have been worked with us on this one. There's been this question when police are getting their jabs. We are here, and the program will roll out. We've got about 180,000 plus members around the country, and we hope it won't take too long.
Right, SABC News reporter Mahlako Komane was there a little bit earlier on. A very good afternoon to Mahlako. Just describe to us, what did you see at that vaccination launch?
Yes, good afternoon to you, Nzinga. What we saw when we got there, I mean, it was very busy. It was slightly, I think they had quite a big amount of members that had come out to, I think, excited people that had come out to get the vaccination, and the Johnson & Johnson jab. I think they could have done better in terms of their crowd control. I didn't see a lot of social distancing. They did try, but I think they had an overwhelming amount of people that were coming in. Even when we left, we saw that people were still scrambling for space. In terms of the lines were very long and very big. But I think also what was quite interesting to also hear when we got there was, I mean, a lot of these officers saying that they have seen some of their colleagues dying from COVID-19. I'm quite excited to be getting this jab. But when we spoke to PolMed being the medical aid that most police members are part of, we spoke to the principal officer who had told us that in the last year or so, they had spent over 1.2 billion rand just treating the symptoms of COVID-19 amongst members of the force. So that was, and their beneficiaries. That was also quite interesting to see what this means. And she also said to us that we had to ask her who's paying for this. We understand that PolMed would also be paying for this. She said they will be spending about 300 million just to be able to pay for this so that their members are able to be protected. They're hoping that this will ensure that they're not spending as much money treating COVID-19 symptoms amongst their members. But I think also it was also quite interesting to see the police minister who was having his first appearance post the Nkandla events. I think we diverted a bit as well from the program of the day, which was the rollout.
Mahlako, tell me about that interaction and the questions that you asked him around what happened in Nkandla.
Yes, definitely. I think outside of the politics of whether former President Jacob Zuma was going to be arrested or not, there was, I think, the elephant in the room on a lot of South Africans. I mean, we're all South Africans, we're all governed by one with the same laws, so we assume. And it was the issue of, we saw that there were clear contraventions of the lockdown regulations that were happening in that space over the weekend. And I think also the issue of masks. We all know that there are consequences when you decide not to put on your mask and go outside and interact with people. So the question that I posed to Minister Khehla was, as an ordinary South African without any form of political connections, am I allowed to walk around as I wish and do what I want in spite of the regulations? I mean, what is the role of the South African police services in terms of what they are supposed to do in enforcing these regulations? And I think his answer there was when he was telling us that they had their intelligence on the ground, but they continue to ask South Africans to continue wearing their masks, continue practicing the issues of social distancing and so forth. But no clear answer as per se, other than the fact that they were trying to avoid the issue of, another Marikana situation whereby they will have blood on their hands. But I think not the most satisfactory answer as to what is it that's going to be happening, but assuring us there that they had surveillance on the ground. They had about 20 cameras. I think you played that in your earlier clip, and they will be watching that footage to go and pick their people. How are they going to identify those people? Not necessarily identify them, but be able to locate them in a rural setting is also quite interesting. So we wait and we see that will there be any arrests. But for now, he could not commit or comment on the issue of were they actually arrests that have taken place, considering that if you go into social media, you see people saying that, the police use quite a lot of force on beaches and parks. People are getting arrested left, right, and center. So I think it was also an opportunity that's supposed to clear the air in terms of that. After all, he is the leadership of the police, force. People look up to him for leadership.
Mahlako Komane giving us an update there on the COVID-19 vaccination of police officers launched today, and of course taking a look back at what happened in Nkandla and law enforcement issues there.